everybody. Welcome to the After Hours Experience. I am your host, T. Sarastani. We have a plethora of subjects to talk about tonight. But before we do that, I want to introduce the panel of experts that we have here around the horn tonight. First and foremost, the greatest celebrity stalker of all time, the one and the only South Boston Jeff.
Hey, top of the morning to you, or evening.
Or afternoon, evening, or whatever you happen to be listening to this broadcast. Hollywood Joel is here.
Respect, TC. I'm in the house tonight. Let's have some fun.
Unbelievable. The man who has strangled more people than the Boston Strangler himself, the one and the only Strangler Steve.
Hey, that has yet to be proven. Hey, it's great that Hollywood Joel could show up tonight.
Why is that?
He's sitting outside, waiting around, knocking on the windows, looking for people.
Well, you know what happened was, Bull is the one who sends out all the emails to get everybody down here for the show. And Bull is not here tonight because he's on the road, literally, to WrestleMania. He's heading down to WrestleMania this weekend, and he forgot to tell you that he wasn't going to be here to let you in, Joel.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Paul. Have fun with Johnny Fabs and Cena. And,
That's who he's going down there with.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm here, with you guys. I'm not complaining. But, a little WrestleMania action wouldn't hurt somebody.
I'll be there. I'm actually leaving at 3 a.m., heading down to New Orleans. I'll probably bump into Bull because, you're bumping into him no matter where you are, whether you want to or not.
And he's gonna ask, hey, Stevie, you got a couple bucks? I left home without it.
After what you told me happened at Kowloon last week, when he ordered $40 worth of food and had $8 in his pocket.
He wasn't there.
I don't go out to eat afterwards.
It
takes me forever to get home.
Oh, you didn't come that night? Oh, Fab showed up?
Okay,
I heard.
Well, let's talk about that. Since Bull's not here right now and he's on the road to WrestleMania, let's talk about the last podcast we had, which was the beginning of March. And we went up to the world-famous Kowloon, which is the biggest and most successful Chinese restaurant on planet Earth, I think. In fact, it was a Jeopardy question.
It's like you said, TC. It's like the Ribera Steakhouse of America.
It is the Ribera Steakhouse of the United States. Look it up. All right, so what happened was we go up there. We're having a grand old time. Everybody is enjoying their food and whatnot. Bull orders, what Bull usually orders.
A bucket.
And then all of a sudden, the bill came. Bull ordered $40 worth of Chinese food and had $8 in his sock.
He had $8 in his sock, yeah.
And then everybody at the table
nickels.
was giving him a ration of crap like we always do. And then out of nowhere, Johnny Fabulous comes walking through, and he miraculously saw him through a wall. I don't know how that was possible.
He smelled the money.
And he went up and tried to grovel money off of him, and Johnny came back and he goes, brother, why is Bull asking me for money all of the time?
We didn't even believe, Bull, that he saw Johnny Fabs. We had to send the owner or whatever, the guy that you're friends with.
The guy who owns
Kowloon.
Who owns Kowloon.
We had to ask him, is Johnny Fabulous really here? Because Bull says he is, and we're just thinking he's skipping out on the tip.
Right.
And you sent him. You were like, can you go? It was kind of cool. It was like being in Goodfellas or something.
Right.
But yeah, you sent the
we
owner of the
sent
Kowloon.
Andy Wong, the owner of the Kowloon, who's a great guy.
And then Johnny Fabs
And he goes,
came
oh,
back.
yeah, Johnny's here. And I'm like, Bull, what are you, Superman, Clark Kent? How do you see through walls? I mean, literally,
I'm telling you,
wall.
he smelt the money.
And Johnny came back and was like, Bull's looking for money. I don't have any. I'm not giving it to him. So we all everybody pitched in and bailed Bull out. And now he's not even here tonight to, say thank you.
This is why I never go out to eat with the boys after something like wrestling or doing things like this, because you always get stiffed on the bill. Someone's always going to screw you.
It's pretty sad. You know who else contributed to the bill?
Who?
Reno.
Oh, my God.
All right?
Reno. How much could he really eat, though? He weighs like 60 pounds.
He just ordered his usual order of rice, and he put in $5 for Bull. Bull had $8 and ordered $40 worth of food.
And as Bull was pulling money out of his sock, Reno actually pulled his socks off to try to get, he was doing everything he could.
And I'm like, Bull, and he goes, I thought I had more. Well, what? Dust in your sock? Because you didn't have money for the $40 worth of Chinese food.
Who walks into a restaurant without knowing exactly how much money they have?
Colonel Bull Montana.
Yeah.
That's why.
See, that's where I think you're wrong. I think he goes in there intentionally ready to stiff somebody. He's like, you know how we're always putting heat on Vinny Capelli for being a douchebag. Wait a minute now. Maybe the shoe's on the other foot here, and Bull is the one that's working guys for money.
Just like Jeff said one day, Bull is the living embodiment of wimpy. I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
And then after the incident, I love the Bull. One of my favorite of
all
all
we
time.
all
he's
love
great.
But yeah,
We love Bull.
on the way out, he turns to me and he whispers, yeah, I think I'm going home with you guys tonight. I was like, we're going the other way.
He's like,
I think everyone's mad at me.
He knew the ration of crap I was going to give him on the way back. Yeah. It's like, Bull, I've known you for a quarter of a century. You never have money in your pocket. Except that time we went to New York City, which, by the way, Bull, if you're listening, you still owe me bus fare from 1999, all right? And I was watching him. We were down there with Jeff doing a celebrity stock. He went to every cot vendor on the street. And we'd go back like a half a block, and he'd be looking around saying, there's no one here, reaching into his sock, taking out a wad like he was in Goodfellas or whatnot. He's the smartest guy in the world.
You're flapping back $100 bills.
He asks you how much you need. He's like, how much? And does like a
Like
length
3
like
inches.
like a centimeter. Like, come on, man. I know you got
So,
that
all
money.
right, Bull, if you're out there on the road to WrestleMania, we love you. But whoever you're traveling with, I feel sorry for
And
you.
we know you still got that Hulk Hogan money and that you got that Johnny Fab money. We know.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no, he got more money than Donald Trump.
I'm telling you right, I know.
Vince McMahon's going to ask him for a loan for a payday down there when he has to pay someone off.
Hey, Bull, could you float me through Mania, pal?
I'm sorry, Vinny. I got no money.
Yeah,
let
okay.
me grab
So if
my
you're ever out
sock.
with Bull Montana, check the sock before you give him a menu, all right? That's the word of advice today. So what's going on, everybody? Jeff, you weren't here last time. What were you doing?
Oh, I was at the celebrating. Well, I went to the Funkadelic show.
The Funkadelics?
Yeah, that was and it was a really cool show. And George Clinton, the singer, is celebrating.
No
his,
relation to Bill, right?
No, I don't believe so. But he's celebrating his divorce with his wife after 22 years, and he's looking good. He actually shaved off. Well, he doesn't look like one of the Muppets anymore, if you ever saw George Clinton.
He doesn't
and
have the
everything.
rainbow dreads anymore?
Oh, no. He doesn't
That's
look
my
like,
favorite part.
the Rainbow Connection like the Muppets, but he's a nice little suit and everything and a hat, and,
Now,
well,
Jeff,
it was a good show.
You want to pass on some condolences? You had a loss, not in your family, but one of your favorite rock stars of all time recently passed
yes.
away?
Well, actually, one of my childhood icons passed away. The great Odorous Urungus from Guar. His real name was David Brocky, and Guar I started listening to when I was in my teens, when I was back in high school and everything. Everybody heard this, and everybody is like, whatever. I used to play their videos. I'd walk around with Guar videos in my pocket and try to play them at parties, and nobody liked them, but it's their videos, and that pretty much taught me how to that there's no limitation to how creative you could be in your own
Or
mind.
Disturbed?
Or Disturbed, yeah. And I did get to meet Dave Brocky before he died and everything. He was a cool guy. I got to meet him back in, I think it was 2003. I got to meet him out of his Guar getup and got to have a beer and, just hang out for a few. That's
I
what
remember in
matters.
early 1992 at one of the parties out in Vegas, you had your VHS tape of Guar on the Jerry Springer Show.
Oh, yeah, that
I
was
remember that.
absolutely legendary. It was Guar and El Duce from the Mentors. And
Duce.
here's something it's a little weird. Dave Brocky from Guar actually passed away on El Duce's birthday.
Well, there's an unknown fact that a lot of people out there aren't going to know.
Did El Duce put out the Christmas albums, man?
Yes, he did.
Right?
Didn't I give you a copy of that?
I got
I
a
gave
copy
out.
when
I'm not gonna say that I'm giving away copies because then the mentors will be mad at me. But
El Duce won't.
well, I'm sure he will. But I'm not too worried about El Duce haunting me from beyond the grave. But
Just give him some of
maybe-
your medicine. You'll be
Maybe
all
it
set.
should be. You know who's a huge fan of Dave from Guar that passed away too? Donnie.
Oh, Donnie the Signature Boy.
When I worked out in California with Kim, who was one of the original members of Guar. You know who I'm talking about, Kimmo?
yes.
I didn't know she was in Guar. I just worked with her.
Well, there were two Guar women. There was Danielle and Danielle Steele, and Kim was the other one.
That's crazy because she was just this. I mean,
Normal
amazingly hot. No, naughty. She was normal, but oh my god,
Out of her
forget
mind.
about it. She was
Speaking of something that isn't normal, I accompanied you on your last celebrity stalk, Jeff, down in New York City a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
We posted it on our Facebook and all of our whatnot social media there. And you had a little celebrity encounter with none other than Jean-Luc Picard himself, Patrick Stewart.
Oh, that is
now,
correct.
Can you give us the story on why Patrick Stewart hates you?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, he was in a play with Sir Ian McKellen, and everybody knows that my eyes aren't too good, and I see this big limo pull up, and And so I just, before thinking, I rushed up and got the guy at its back, and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. McKellen, could I get a picture?" And Patrick Stewart turns around and says, "That's not my name. You got the wrong actor." And I'm so sorry. And he's like, "Just get out of my way." But for the rest of that 20-second encounter, he was just trying to ignore me. But me and Patrick Stewart have kind of a negative history, so...
for those of you who don't know, you can go onto our YouTube channel and see one of Jeff's celebrity stalks where he encountered Patrick Stewart back in 2010. And as he was leaving a theater, Jeff goes, "You were great as Captain Kirk." Bingo, wrong captain right there. "You're great as Captain Ahab." And he asked him, "What's next, Captain Crunch?"
Yeah. Well, he pretty much ignored everything I said and just shook his head and walked right by me. Didn't acknowledge it.
And the picture that you see on the screen right now is Patrick Stewart signing people's autographs, and Jeff's trying to sneak in for a picture. And what did Sir Patrick say to you?
He said, "I know what you're doing." And he pretty much said to himself, "You can't get so angry so early in the day." So that proves that he talks to himself. And it's...
awesome.
But he seems like a pretty nice guy and everything, and it's a shame that Patrick Stewart doesn't like me. But I don't really care what he thinks of me at all. So.
Guess what, Jeff? I don't like Patrick Stewart.
If he
So
wanted
how's
to,
that?
he would have made you go whoop factor 10 in the wrong direction. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our big first-time commercial break, and we come back. Hollywood Joel's going to give us some 4-on-1 on whatever's on his Hollywood mind. We'll be right back after this big-time commercial break. This is the After Hours Experience.
Hi, this is Jessica Lee, Miss Howard TV 2011, and you're watching After Hours with TC Rustani.
Alrighty, welcome back from that big-time commercial break. As you can tell by the music, it's the time for a little Hollywood Joel action. What's going on, Hollywood Joel?
TC, since we have a little music theme going on, I thought maybe we'd continue it with the show, and it's fun, and we're having a good time. It's a Friday night.
We
and we're
always
on as
have a good time.
Always. We never close.
And
then, so I thought we have two esteemed panelists, as you like to call the host of the show.
That's right.
And two of them went to, one of them, it was his first concert, and another one, it was his second concert that he ever went to.
Right.
They just happened to be there at the same time. Now, you don't know, because I hid this from you.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Dun, dun, dun.
So it was October 7th, 1988, at Boston Garden, AC/DC Blow Up Your Video Tour. All right? Two people on the show. It could be Steve. It could be Vinny Capelli. It could be Jeff. It could be Bull. It could be me. Two of them. One of them, it was his first show, and the other one, it was his second concert ever. I mean, that's amazing.
All right, so this is my trivia question. I have to guess.
This is it. You have to guess, all right? October 7th, 1988.
It was a good day because it was in the 80s.
Two of these friggin' nuts were there together, okay?
Okay.
All right.
We can rule out Sabrina because I don't think she was born yet.
No. So here we go, all right? It was this motley crew of misfits. It was Bull and Vinny were there together.
Right, Bull and Vinny.
Yep.
Bull and Vinny.
Jeff and Vinny.
Jeff and Vinny.
Bull and Steve.
Bull and Steve.
Or Jeff and Joel. Now, these two people at the time, I don't think knew each other, but they happened to be, it was one of their first concerts of all time. Now, I know because I'm going through, I'm trying to get stuff for the show.
411.
And it just so happened that after going through all this, I was like, oh, that was your first concert?
Okay.
This was this guy's second concert? Go ahead.
I'm going to have to say, now, one more time, can you read the answers?
All right. October 7th, 1988, AC/DC Blow Up Your Video. Bull and Vinny were there.
Bull and Vinny.
Jeff and Vinny were there.
Jeff and Vinny.
Bull and Steve the Hitman King were there.
Uh-oh.
The Strangler probably strangled Angus Young and the other guy from AC/DC that died. Or Jeff and Joel were there.
I'm going to have to say 1988. I think you were kind of a little young to be going to concerts by yourself there, Strangler Steve. So
Why, thank you.
I'm going to have to go out on a limb. Bull and Vinny.
Bull and Vinny, that's your answer?
Yeah.
No. It was Jeff and Joel.
That is
double
true.
J's with it.
That is
I
true.
was 11 years old. It was my first concert. AC/DC, Blow Up Your Video. My babysitter brought me. Cool guy from Malden, you know, and he knew first kiss.
Give him
I
any
had.
medicine that night, Jeff?
Well, I didn't know him from a hole in the wall, and I think that was before I started smoking. I had to be 16, and I took my little brother Patrick with me. That was his first
But
concert.
he was smoking at the time.
He's on the
That
call.
was his first concert.
But you were
That
there
was
with,
my
but
brother
you-
Patrick's first concert.
awesome.
But you were there with Bull. You know why? Because he worked at the Garden.
I'd imagine, you know what?
Right?
I thought if we had Bull here, if he wasn't, you know, strong arm.
He would know exactly what Angus Young had for breakfast that day because he was harassing him too, probably looking for a free strain.
But I remember that. Like it was yesterday when that missile. It was a heat-seeking missile.
Man.
Rose out of the stage and everything, and then Angus Young kicked open the door. And I never thought I
He
would.
kicked open the door. I never saw anything like this in my life. I'm 11 years old. I'm going,
I would
what
hope not
the
at 11.
is this, right? And right before everything started, some chick came up to me, hottest chick, man, looked like an extra from Wayne's World, right? Back in the days. Came up to me, grabbed me, pulled me towards her, kissed me right on the lips, and said, Angus Young for president.
And this woman was 35 years old. Right?
Probably. Who cares? It was
Well,
great.
you know, Joel, that explains a lot why you're messed up these days right now.
Thanks, buddy.
But you know what? That's why we love you, because you're out of your mind. Unbelievable. All right, hit me with another one there, Joel.
I'm going to hit you with my best shot.
All right, fire away.
Here we go. All right, this now. I love all of you, and you know that. I love you.
And
I
it's
love
not
you.
the medicine talking
No,
to you.
no, it's definitely not the medicine that Jeff gave me. No, you know, my balls are good.
As it hangs from his ear,
He
but we're not
just
going to say
drops
anything.
But this is, I asked just to try to set up for the show and stuff like that.
All right.
People on the show, near-death experience,
Near-death experience.
almost death experiences. Okay, so I'm going to give you one.
All right.
All right, and you're going to have to tell me. It could be Steve. It could be Jeff. It could be me. It might be me.
Can I tell you about my near-death experience real quick?
Okay, go. Yeah.
Rooming
yeah.
with Bull. Enough said.
That's
All right.
it. Yeah. So this
Person.
allergic to milk as a
Allergic
baby.
to-
They didn't know.
Well, it's not Quincy then.
That this, he was allergic to milk. Okay, almost died. The fire department, luckily enough, was two houses away, and they came and saved this little baby's life. And it happened a couple times where they saved the baby's life. They found out eventually that he was, or she, Sabs, but was allergic to milk. And that's what, and they actually had to find a formula that was a beef-based formula for this baby, and feed this baby with the beef-based formula.
Okay. So now, this isn't like mother's milk or pasteurized, but this is like the
Any
pasteurized
kind.
milk.
I mean, it's not like having a lactose intolerant. This person
Right.
was allergic to milk.
This
They didn't
whack
know.
job is allergic to milk.
This
basically.
nutcase is
All right.
allergic to milk.
All right, and it's someone on our show.
On our show, it could be Capelli. That would make sense. Could be Steve. Could be Jeff. Could be me. Bull, he's allergic to nothing, but
Yeah, other than work.
obviously.
All right, I'm going to have to say now, allergic to milk. That's on the show. And now, I would have known this from a while back if it was someone like that ran with the posse for a long time, or it could be a secret that people have kept for a long period of time. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to go, you Strangler Steve.
What?
The horror story man himself.
How did you know?
That's odd. How are you allergic to milk?
Well, I'm not anymore. I was as an infant.
Oh, as an infant,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Now, what happened? Now, how did they find this out? Did you, like, head explode or, like,
You know, I'm not really sure. My mom said that I was constantly crying as a baby.
Sure, the milk just didn't expire?
Yeah. The milk's gone bad. But apparently I was crying so bad one day and nonstop that literally the fire department came over to make sure I was all right. Because, like Joel was saying, they were literally 2 houses down. In fact, my uncle, who lived beneath us in the apartment beneath us, was actually working at the fire station
Really?
that day. And they came to make sure that I was all right, and they took me to the emergency room, and lo and behold, they finally had discovered that, yes, I was allergic to milk. And they had to, my parents had to feed me this beef-based formula, which I'm told was so disgusting smelling that my father couldn't be in the room when I would be drinking it because it smelled so bad it would make him gag.
Now, I hope you give your father a nice Father's Day gift after all this torture you put him through.
I know. I couldn't imagine being parents to me because it was very rough on them. You
Now,
know,
do you
'cause
have
they were
like
young parents.
flashbacks when they have like blizzards and everybody go out and get milk and eggs and stuff like that and bread?
Well, I can drink milk now, fine.
Really?
I don't know, like when the transition happened. I mean, I've been eating cereal since I could have solid food. As far as I can remember. So I don't know at what point it changed, but yeah, that happened to
The
me.
kid's
as an
unbreakable.
infant.
He's
Yeah.
unbreakable like
I
Bruce
guess
Willis
I
in the
got
movie
over the
Unbreakable.
milk thing, and that what
Yep.
doesn't kill
And now
you
you're
makes you
looking-
stronger.
you're looking for
Wow.
something else that
That's
could
right.
stop
That's
you.
fascinating.
Now
What
I
a-
drink milk right from the tap as often as I can get it.
So you want to
son.
strangle all those cows out there,
That's
right?
right. Right by the udder.
And I'm not talking about Bull's girlfriend Velvet either.
Cow
wait a minute.
strangle a steed.
Unbelievable. That's fascinating, Joel. You were like an Encyclopedia Britannica.
I try.
The thing is like I actually never told him that story. He called my mom and asked. So
Really?
Yeah.
And
Well, I
said,
called her.
weird.
I called her to wish her well because
Right. she's Mrs.
cancer in the
Strangler. She's Mama
strangle.
Strangler.
that's right.
And I know that he was out visiting with her this week,
Yeah,
and they were having
just
a
got
good
back
time.
2 days ago.
This guy just flew back for the show.
Yeah.
Well, of course he does.
That's my responsibility.
He's a chief operating officer
I mean,
of
he's not
behind
pulling,
the scenes
he's not pulling a
activities.
bull.
Huh? Oh,
Oh,
Bull,
you know.
you kidding me? Bull.
Bull gets a toenail stubbed and
Oh,
he
forget
doesn't make
about
it.
it.
Someone stole my Twinkie. I'm going to therapy.
You know, he
Yep.
ain't coming around.
Yep.
Fascinating stuff there, Joe. What else is going on?
What's going on with the plane?
The airplane. All right.
Where
I
is that
know,
damn
man.
Where
thing?
is where is the airplane? Of course, everybody's going to throw out,
How long
the
is
Hervé
this?
Villechaize thing, the plane. But you know what? Someone dig up Hervé Villechaize and let's find this damn plane. So for those of you who are on planet Pluto,
What happened to Hervé Villechaize?
He blew his brains out.
Yeah, he
remember?
shot himself in the head.
He didn't have a fantasy
this is
that
before
came
the plane.
true.
Bro, how are you 4'11"? This guy was like 3'5" or something. This guy, you have this awesome life. I mean, I don't know where he started from or where he went to, but he was huge at that time.
Well,
And then
I think I heard
Not
a
huge.
quote that said he hates being such a little guy and such a little star in such a big world. I hate how he put it. And, I don't remember exactly how he put it, but
I mean, he seemed like he came over a lot of obstacles.
Right, and he was a friggin' millionaire for crying
What are
out
you
loud.
doing?
Yeah, what's
and
the
he
problem?
appeared on Taxi. That's the most important thing.
He was on Taxi?
He did. He played. There was an episode where he left his briefcase in a cab, and all the cast had fantasies on the show. And then at the
I
end, he made
remember
his,
I
little,
remember
he
that,
made his
yeah.
little cameo, and
Yeah.
Louis goes, "You're like the plane. And they go, oh, that's very good, and took off.
That
And
was
then-
him, and he
he
just
goes,
took off?
he goes, tell the big guy I wasn't offended by his impersonation or whatnot.
Was he talking about DeVito?
Yeah.
The guy that he stinks.
But we're talking about the airplane here. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this Malaysian airline plane. It's been gone for a month now. Now, you had a close personal friend named Millennium many years
I
ago.
did, that's
now,
right.
there was a really bad movie with like Chris Christopherson called Millennium where a plane just vanished and went into the future. Now, I had our Photoshop department draw up a little thing as a little joke and offend a few people where I had the flux capacitor on the cockpit of the Malaysian airline
this
where it
can't be
just
good.
disappeared. But I have no idea with this one. Do you have a theory? I'm going to start off with you, Jeff, and talking to your microphone. What do you think happened to this plane?
Okay, yeah, I do have a little theory. Speaking of Millennium and Han Solo, who flew the Millennium. Well, since the plane took off from China,
Malaysia.
Malaysia, right, and flew and seemed to disappear over the seas of India, a lot like what happened in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The plane Lao She's plane was disappeared over India. So I think that plane could have crashed, and all those passengers are probably down in the mines right now digging for the lost Sankara stones.
Well, that's a good theory, Jeff. That probably could happen. So you think Lao She was going goodbye, Malaysian airline? You think that's what happened?
Well, I just it took off from Asia and then disappeared around India. A lot of similarity. The plane just
Maybe that's why
disappeared.
Spielberg and Lucas sold the franchise.
I agree with Jeff. It
You
took
agree
off-
that it's an
it took
Indiana
off
Jones
from
conspiracy?
Milwaukee, and where did disappear? Indiana or something? It has something to do with it's Lenny and Squiggy, and it's going to have something to do with the Schultz. What was the Schultz? The brew company and Laverne
Schlitz.
Shirley? Yeah.
Schultz.
Something's up, man.
I think this plane has more zigzags than the magic bullet that shot Kennedy. Now, I have a theory that makes not as much sense as Jeff's, but I think that some international terrorists stole the plane. They're going to rebrand the plane. They're going to put a nuke in it, and they're going to fly it into something or some other country and start some crazy war. That's just my theory.
That's plausible, though. That's
actually
actually plausible.
I think Jeff's is more plausible myself. That
I
300
think my
people
Laverne and
jumped out of the
Shirley
plane
is more
on a
plausible
rubber
than
raft.
anyone's.
I was listening to a talk show on WBZ a few weeks ago, and this guy had the best idea of what happened. He thinks the plane literally flew into a wormhole and is now in another dimension.
Donnie Darko.
And a
see
new
Donnie Darko?
dimension.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Land of the Lost when they were like Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition, but instead of a little rubber raft going over a waterfall,
Lost.
and a giant plane vanished, and they're now back fighting Tyrannosaurus
Makes
Rex
sense.
and Chaka.
Could possibly
That's
be
probably
happening.
what happened out there.
It's a
Now,
big
if you
world.
have a theory of what happened to this plane, you can send us an email. It's on the screen right now. It's at tcristani@yahoo.com. It's unbelievable. I want to know what happened to this plane. Hopefully, by the next time we have an after-hours experience, we'll have some more 411 on it. But I'm getting through my earpiece, so we have to go to our next big-time commercial break. So during the commercial break, if we find out any information about the plane, we'll find out. But I'm going with Jeff's theory that the plane took it. This is the after-hours experience. And Indiana Jones, you're our only hope. For a decade, viewers have only experienced After Hours the only way known possible, on the 4x3 screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all. That big time commercial break. We have not found the missing plane. It is still out there, and hopefully Indiana Jones will find it. But Joel, David Letterman is retiring after 33 years. Now that deserves a round of applause from us down here because we respect all the talk show hosts. And David Letterman, who was a true disciple of Johnny Carson, who is now in the record books as the longest reigning talk show host in the history.
Is that true?
Johnny Carson only went 30. David Letterman will be going 33 years when he retires in 2015. So what's this little game you got going on down there, Joe?
But what do you think? You know, you're like me. I'm old school. Gleason and Carson. Letterman compared to Carson? There's no comparison.
David
right?
Letterman in the early '80s was innovative.
The 1 a.m. show, right?
Yeah,
With
the one
the
that
late
was on
late show.
the
That was
late one,
awesome
because it was
loved it.
It had an atmosphere and a feeling to it. It was set in New York, and it felt like it was in New York. And he had on. It didn't matter who he had on. He could have on the president one night, and Andy Kaufman slapping and Jerry Lawler slapping Andy Kaufman one night. He just had the strangest and unique things because his audience, kind of like our audience, are late night people. And they just flocked to the weird and unusual.
I always felt like no matter what weird thing was going on, it was comfortable. I was home. Like, it was something.
Right. It was
1 in the morning.
It was like comfort food.
Just like this show.
Right.
When I was a kid, I used to watch show.
Didn't Chris Elliott from Get a Life get his start?
Yeah, he was a writer there.
Man. Chris Elliott was on the show all the time.
Yeah, he was
A
the
lot of
clown who
people.
lived under the stairs at the David Letterman show.
And they had that guy Larry Bud Melman, that old
yeah?
guy who just wandered through the stage. And the originator throwing the index cards through the glass and make the glass noise. It was an innovative program for its time. And now that he became too mainstream when he tried to beat Jay Leno like 20 years ago,
And he did a good job.
And I think even he knows his time has come.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've met David Letterman many times in New York.
Weird guy, right?
He's a strange guy,
Strange
but
person.
he'd fit in with us. If you get
Yeah,
that
he'd hang out
comparison.
with us and
he'd,
just be like,
he'd hang out with us. He'd love Bull. Let's just put it that way. He'd sit and go for a beer with Bull, get high with Jeff, whatever.
He'd stare at him and wait for the empty.
And he'd be fascinated by that. So you got to remember, he was a wacko who was just a weatherman from Indiana who was a stand-up comedian who got lucky. Plain and simple.
Just like any of us.
Plain and simple.
I was never a weatherman.
Now, speaking of that, Strangler Steve, you got a little catchphrase here.
Yes.
Now that David Letterman's retiring, of course, we don't want to take over David Letterman.
No.
There's a whole list of people that are more qualified to do that, but we have
sure.
our own unique brand of entertainment down here.
The David Letterman brand is a shadow I don't think we'd ever want to try to stand in.
No,
but,
and you'd be a fool too.
but we have our own thing going on here with our show at After Hours. But I was thinking, somebody's going to have to take that late night spot. That's that late night.
The late spot.
Yeah, the late spot.
Right.
That cool, cutting edge, edgy thing that David used to be known for.
Correct.
Now, I think that should be us.
That
I
should
think
be
it should
us.
be you, T.C. Rustani.
Well, we have a brain power down here that can pull it off. Now,
I think that's true.
I used to watch all these shows in the middle of the night. I used to watch. Does anybody remember the Joe Franklin show?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Joe Franklin was this little Jewish guy who hosted his late night talk show in the New York, New Jersey area on Channel 9 for like 50 years. Everybody who was anybody before they were famous were on his show. And he would, to give you an example, he would have his talk show set, and he would have on a guy who created, invented some crazy new invention, Captain Lou Albano, and one of the Ramones. I mean, you just had
wild.
the who's who
Yeah.
of wacko-ness out there, and it was very entertaining. In fact, it was so entertaining that Billy Crystal used to spoof him on the on early episodes of Saturday Night Live in the 80s. He was always doing a Joe Franklin type of thing. So shows like that, which are not cookie cutter like most of the people that are doing talk shows out there today, we're like one person said on the show, and I'll never forget it. We are the Tonight Show from the Twilight Zone.
That's perfect definition.
Perfect analogy. Now, what's this little hashtag?
Oh
you
yeah,
came
well,
up
you
with?
know, on Twitter and on Facebook, all social medias, you can follow a trend by using a hashtag.
Correct.
That pound sign that you see on your phone. Well, I came up with this one the other day, and I ran it by you, and you seemed to think it was pretty cool.
That was great.
I think we need to develop hashtag TC on my TV.
TC on my TV.
It just rolls off the tongue. And what we want to do is whenever somebody's listening to our program, whether it be a podcast or whether it's our YouTube channel, I want them to go on their social media and talk about us and add that hashtag TC on my TV and see if we can get this thing
and link
trending.
to our YouTube page.
We're gonna-
because
we'll link it right
we're,
up.
we're doing this fun podcast now, but what we have planned for the show when we have the new set, and like we did before, but we're going to put more emphasis this time on the guests, because the guests are what make the talk show. The host and the cast don't make a talk show. The guests make a talk show.
That's right.
We have this podcast and our other little, videos on YouTube where you get to know and meet and hang and socialize with the cast and whatnot. But the talk show is a talk show. It's always has been and always will be. We've shied away from that, in the last couple of years. But now we're just going to emphasize on the guests. We only have a 30-minute block, and there's only so much you can do with that block.
Right, and there's a lot, even though it is a short period of time, there's a lot we can do at that time. But what I'd like to do is when we're getting our shows out on YouTube or wherever they're listening to it, is when they're watching the show, they see something funny, tweet about it,
Right.
Facebook about it, and add that
Email
hashtag
us,
TC on my TV.
yahoo.com.
It takes literally seconds
And
to
we're
do.
getting bumper stickers made up.
That's
with
great.
with the hashtag on
And
it.
I think we can get this show to trend.
Unbelievable.
We're
Well,
gonna get a trending show going on.
trending
there?
show. We don't want that. Don't trend on me like
Hey,
Alex
man,
Jones
don't
says.
trend on us. I like that though. Tweet. What do you?
Why not?
Yeah, no, it sounds good. And-
Fantastic. Now, what's this deal you have going on down there, Joe? That was our little plug.
all right. Well, you have. I like that though. Maybe we could. I could have a little.
Maybe the signature boy could get that tattooed on them.
TC. Oh, we could. We could have a TC simply too dope. TC STD. Some fun stuff. But so you're gonna have to. You got Leno. You got Letterman. You got Conan O'Brien. Are those the big threes? Am I wrong?
Well, Jimmy Fallon would be.
I wouldn't
Fallon.
consider him. I don't know.
He's got the
Stick
top
around.
spot now.
I got to tell you, before I know you're getting into a point, but just so I just want to say this: I've been watching Fallon, and he's fantastic. He's owning the role, and he's.
Do you know why that show is going to be successful?
Why?
Because it's retro. He's going
Right.
backwards. He's
It's classy, but it's fun.
He's not doing the technology route. There's no giant screens on his set.
Right.
He doesn't. The
curtain is gorgeous.
Not like WWF where
overproduced.
Hashtag tweet.
Right.
Trending
They
and blah
actually,
blah blah.
They rib the hashtag. They
Right.
make fun of it.
They're a talk show.
Yeah,
They're
but
a
is
throwback.
it because they're trying not to be too edgy and not do anything?
They're
Like,
trying to be.
is that
They're trying to be.
trying to get
original.
everyone? But who wants to?
But it's just your opinion. But your
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
But your top three was Leno, Letterman, and
Oh
Conan.
no, but
O'Brien.
it's up to you guys.
I don't care
Who
who
do
you
you
put
guys
there.
think the top three are?
I would say that's
You
true.
say Fallon?
Yeah. Well, I'd say Fallon now because he's there. Leno's
So
retired,
Letterman,
so he's out of the
Leno, and
equation.
Fallon,
And Jimmy Fallon.
and Jimmy Fallon. All right, so you know the game: marry, F, kill.
You got it.
Yeah,
right.
Mary F. Kill.
So
yeah.
you're gonna marry one, you got one, and you're gonna kill one.
Okay.
Sorry. And so, all right, so you got Letterman,
Yeah.
you got Leno,
Yeah.
and you got Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
Sweet
Jimmy
little
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon that
Right.
you guys all love.
And your point is here, Joe.
No, but you have
Marry
to,
F.
you
Kill.
have to pick.
All right. We'll
You're
start
gonna
with
marry one.
We'll start with Jeff.
Oh, all right.
Well, I really have to.
Yeah, you have to marry one. You have to. one.
Okay,
You
Suspend
have to-
your disbelief
would,
there,
yeah,
Jeff.
I would marry Letterman. I guess. Bang Fallon since he's the youngest.
Why not?
And who do I have left to kill?
Leno, I guess.
Letterman.
Oh no, I can't kill Leno. He's my bud.
Oh, you gonna have sex with him
He's
now? You want to have sex with Jay Leno?
Well, like
Breaking news.
yeah, we both know. Yeah, he's a drinker like me and everything. And
He's from around here.
Yeah,
You
I
wouldn't
think
have to travel
I
far.
would pass a bottle of JD back and forth, and
He
we
makes
would remember it
Doritos.
in the morning. So yes.
Doritos are awesome.
He makes
bro.
he'll make more. All right, Strangler Steve, you're
All right, Marry F. Kill.
Marry F.
and
Kill.
it's Letterman, Leno, and Fallon. Letterman, Leno, and Fallon. All right, I'm killing Leno.
You're killing
This guy-
Leno.
The guy's way too into his own stuff with the cars and stuff. I'm not a car guy, so we just wouldn't get along. So he's out the window.
He's a gear mark.
Yeah, I think I'd F Letterman because he seems like a crazy guy, and you'd probably have a great night with him. But you
Okay.
don't want to carry that on for years and years. Now Fallon, he's young, good-looking kid. He's got a great job, makes a lot of money. I'm marrying that son of a bitch.
There you go. All right, Hollywood Joel.
No, it's on you. You're next.
All right, I mean, all right. I would say I would. Since we met Jay Leno, he was a nice guy, real down to earth guy, real fun guy. I'd say I would marry Jay Leno because look at all the inheritance you could get.
That's true. He does got a lot in the
He
bank.
got a lot of the cash. He's
The
got
house
the
in Beverly
cars,
Hills.
and he's got the legacy. He must have some Johnny Carson memorabilia
That's
hanging around
true.
his house.
He's gotta
So
have
you're
some
marrying Jay Leno, and
And he's older, so he's not going to last very long.
he's not going to last long.
That's
Okay,
smart.
Okay, I'm killing Jimmy Fallon because he would not sign an autograph for Jeff out in front of Saturday Night Live
kidding me.
That's
10
true.
years ago.
That's true.
He was kind of a dick
I did
about
not
it. He
know
goes,
that.
I'm not going to sign for that. I don't like that picture.
What
He
was it?
posed for it.
Was it a
moron.
poster of the movie Taxi with Queen Latifah in it? What happened?
No, it was actually before Taxi. As a matter of
Before
fact.
that?
Yeah, it was. He was like a relatively new guy.
Oh,
on the
probably
show.
after it. He would have posed and took
Oh, of
pictures
course
and went
not.
home with Jeff. Yeah.
So, all right, so
he would have
I-
married Jeff.
I'm marrying Leno, right?
You're marrying
Because I
Leno,
want,
yeah.
he must have a DeLorean in that garage somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right, so we're off in Jimmy Fallon
Yep.
because we can just take his new set and use it for our own.
Right, that's
All
true.
right, and David Letterman because I met him a few times and like you said, he is
Why
a fun
not?
guy. He don't
Right?
give a crap about
Yeah.
nothing. We're going with and
Yes.
he can make the little sound effects with the glass. We're gonna
that's
F
pretty
David
cool,
Letterman out there. all
Yeah,
right?
when he's done with you, just
Right.
throw something. You hear the glass.
There you
shake,
go.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm
What
gonna.
about Hollywood
You know
Joel?
what? I'm killing Letterman immediately.
Why are you killing Dave?
Yeah, and when I throw him out the window, it's gonna make that glass sound.
Because literally you're gonna
And-
throw him through glass.
Yep. And
And
You're thinking about this.
I'm effing Jay Leno because he effed everyone else.
but don't.
Whoa, deep.
I don't care if you used to do shows.
You gonna bring in Conan and have like a three-way?
Listen, you know what? Leno used to do shows when he started. When Barbara Streisand used to perform down Revere Beach. Leno, I've heard him talk about it. On
Leno's
the show.
actually better looking than Barbara Streisand.
That's close. But he used to do shows. They just throw lit cigarettes at him down Revere Beach.
Really?
But yeah, I'm effing Leno.
Where was this at? At the tank or whatever that place was
wherever
called?
Bulwarks. I don't know.
The Golden Banana.
No.
And then, you know what? You know who I'm marrying?
Who's that?
Conan O'Brien.
Why?
Because F all of you. Because I was right.
What?
No.
I didn't know that was a
Screw
choice.
Jimmy Fallon. It was. Screw Jimmy Fallon. I'm marrying Conan O'Brien. He's Irish. He's
So's
from
Jimmy
Boston.
Fallon.
He's from Boston.
Okay.
He doesn't wear a New York Yankees hat. He wasn't in a Taxi with Queen Latifah.
No, he
Seems
wasn't.
like
He
a
wasn't.
guy. He's tall.
And he knows what it likes to be effed over.
My kids will be tall. Yeah. He knows what it's like to be effed over. Yeah.
And he used to write for The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, he used to, and he was the head of the Harvard Lampoon. Yeah,
Yeah,
respect to the
pretty
guy.
funny
So
guy.
brains. You go for the brains
I
there,
go
Hollywood.
for the brains, brother.
Well, he does have brains. He sat at home and made $45 million for getting fired.
That's true. That.
Yeah, that was funny.
You know, I'll gladly quit the
Yeah.
show tomorrow if you want to give me $45 million.
Oh, here we go.
Unbelievable. That's an interesting twist on that game there. You know, do we have a cleaver? Could we cut our hands off if we don't want to do it?
Why not?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Fascinating. What we're going to do is we're going to take another big-time commercial break, and we come back, the madness will continue.
Hi, this is Claudia Wells. I played Jennifer Parker in Back to the Future. How about a ride, mister? And you're watching After Hours with T.C. Rustani.
Alrighty, welcome back from that big-time commercial break. One of my passions, of course, is the 1980s. I love every single second of it. And if I had a time machine, I'd go back and do it every single day of every single second of every time period there ever was. Now, Hollywood Joe, you're going back to 1988, and you're going to give us a little rundown of all these classic movies that seem to come out week after week back in 1988. Because we now know the movies today suck.
Terrible.
I'll go on the record. They suck. Hashtag they suck. All right? So, Jeff, what's your opinion on the movies of today?
I don't have an opinion because I don't usually go to the movies.
You just
today.
bootlegged them.
What was the last movie you went to see, Jeff?
Okay, I think it was the new Star Wars. The new Star Trek. The latest Star Trek.
Say the new Star Wars. What do you have, a time machine that's going to come out the next year, Jeff?
You guys went and saw that together, didn't you?
I'd be there.
You did, didn't you?
Which one?
When the new Star Wars came out, I think you guys went and saw it the first day it came out.
I saw every single one of them.
No, you two though. You went to see the new.
Are you talking about the future?
The first one of the new Star Wars.
Right. I think I'm smoking a little too much of the Sheik's medicine tonight. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And I think, I'm talking about the new Star Trek, the latest Star Trek. That's the latest one.
Into the Darkness, which seems that Jeff is wearing with the glasses on right now. But we're traveling back to 1988, not 2013.
But hold on, what was the last movie you went to see?
In the movie theater?
Yep.
I went and saw the last Hobbit movie.
That's the one I saw.
I didn't go see that one, but I wanted to see it because I like the little guy from The Office from England. I forget his name. The one who plays Frodo, I think.
Oh, no, Bilbo.
No, Bilbo.
Yeah, Martin Freeman.
I love Martin Freeman.
Because he was also
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think, right? Yeah, awesome.
Unbelievable.
But you know what? I watched the first Hobbit one.
Right.
And I just couldn't get into it.
It was very long and dragged out.
Yeah.
It was boring. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Lord of the Ring ones.
Yep.
And, of course, Reno looks like Gollum.
Yeah.
But going back to 1988,
right.
26 years ago.
January 1988. Some movies that came out the first week in January of 1988. 18 again.
Who was in that?
Do you remember that movie? George Burns.
Oh, yes, I do, where they swapped.
Where they swap.
Right.
He goes into his awesome movie.
His grandson and him had the same birthday.
Yep.
One was 81, one was 18. They went back and, they flopped. It was kind of like that stupid movie with Kirk Cameron and his Dudley Moore.
They made a bunch of them, like Father Like Son.
Right.
Vice versa.
Right.
With,
but George Burns was awesome. I like
that
George
was
Burns.
awesome, and I love George Burns. Hero and the Terror.
Hero and the
guys,
Terror. Who was in that one?
What is it? Chuck Norris.
Oh, Vinny would have known that.
Okay, Monkey Shines.
Who was in that?
That was a horror movie.
The Wrong Guys. You remember The Wrong Guys? Instead of the right guys, it was the mob guys.
Who was in that
guys.
one? I seem to miss these ones.
Killing me here.
Who was in it?
Braddock Missing in Action.
Oh, of course I've seen that.
Of course you have.
Wasn't that the sequel? I mean,
that was part 3.
That was part 3.
Yeah,
yes.
that was part 3.
Oh, that's right. The second one was Missing in Action 2, the beginning.
February 1988.
February 1988.
Serpent in the Rainbow.
Oh, yeah. With
you guys seen that?
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Great movie. That was done by the guy who created
Wes
Nightmare on Elm
Craven,
Street.
yes.
Yeah.
Wes Craven was on a roll.
Yeah, Wes Craven. That was his name. Good call.
She's Having a Baby came out. I like that, but I think it was Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. She's
These
having
are
a baby.
movies that are coming out.
Wasn't
these
it
movies all
John
came out
Huston?
in
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
In 1 week, these movies came out. A week later, Action Jackson came out. School Days.
Action Jackson. You know who was in Action Jackson?
this?
Action
Oh,
Jackson.
and who else was in it? Biff.
Biff was in it?
Biff from Back to the Future
Who-
was in
who was
Action
Biff in
Jackson. I
it?
think he was a cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Action Jackson.
So that was around. It was like 3 years after Back to the Future.
Right. They were actually in 1988. Yeah, it was a year before the sequels.
A week later, Bloodsport comes out.
Oh my God, my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme
Are you
movie of all
kidding me,
time.
man?
If Capelli was here right now, he'd be creaming in his jeans. He loves Bloodsport.
What's his name in it from
Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
Donald
Ogre.
Gibb. I mean,
Remember
he was the
playing
best
video
actor
game,
in
busting
that. Yeah,
everyone's
best.
ass? He's awesome, bro. And then
I
he
mean,
goes,
best actor in that movie, but the
what's that Asian? He points at
Polo?
that dude. And he's like, oh, like he's gonna
break
break him.
Polo Yen.
You are next.
Yeah. That same week, Hairspray came out. Not for us.
Yeah,
but
I don't care
Big movie, man. Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon. I like that movie.
That was what's his name movie before
River
he killed
Phoenix,
himself. There.
last movie.
Well, no, he died in '93 because he did Last Crusade the year after. He was a
Oh,
young
he
Indiana
did.
Jones.
He whipped it. He gave Indiana Jones
scar on his chin,
scar
yeah.
on his face, right? A week later, March 4th, Moving.
Richard
Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Get out of
King
here.
Kong Bundy was in
How
that
awesome
movie.
is
Yeah,
that
his
movie?
screen
King Kong Bundy's
debut,
one of the-
I think.
That movie is awesome.
And what was
They always said they're taking it with us.
and
Yeah, we're taking it with
We're
us.
taking
They
it
took
with
the
us.
pool. We're taking it
Richard
with us.
Pryor's name. What was that? He had a weird name.
Arlo Pear.
Arlo Pear.
And where'd they go? They went to Idaho. What's in Idaho?
And that was the guy. He goes, "Oh yeah, we're taking this with you." He goes, Adele, I moved into the house. There were doors. There was a swimming pool.
They took it with them.
He goes, I have the whole conversation right here. I have a transcript. I told you I was taking the doors. And I told you I was taking the pool. That movie sucked, but it was one of those movies that was
Awesome,
so good.
man.
It sucked.
Yeah,
It was at the
great.
time that you saw it. It was an amazing movie. A week later, Off Limits came out.
Who was in that one?
I think that was the cop movie with
Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold.
Of course
you got
you'd
it.
know that,
Vice
Jeff.
versa. Guess what came out the same week, Jeff?
Oh, the Rain Man?
Vice versa.
Vice versa.
Vice
Okay,
versa.
Vice
Off
versa.
Limits. Best week of Judge Reinhold's life until they brought him back on Arrested Development. A week later, Police Academy 5 came out. No one cares.
Well,
Assignment
Do you guys care?
Nine.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Assignment Miami Beach?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Police
I was
Academy
there
is
in the
like
theater and
is
What are you
like-
talking about? Yeah,
Police
you love-
Academy is like the 12 Days of Christmas.
I
for
didn't
Jeff,
know,
all
Jeff.
right?
Oh, I've seen every single police
Is-
academy
is-
in the
Citizens on
theater.
Patrol,
Well,
that one?
up until well, because they didn't release Part 7, Mission to Moscow, in the theater. It went right to
Is
video.
the Goot? Is the Goot in this one? The Gutenberg?
No,
He's
four,
not in that
four
one?
was his limit. This was the one where Lieutenant Harris he was suntan and they wrote dork. In,
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
And he was walking on
Hey,
the beach.
hey,
That was in the
dork.
commercial.
Hey, dork. Yeah, fantastic movie.
A week later, March 25th, Biloxi Blues. That movie is
great.
awesome.
Oh, Matthew
man.
Broderick.
Matthew
Yes.
Broderick, Christopher Walken. Johnny B. Good comes out. Good movie.
Oh, that was the one with the principal
Anthony
from the
Michael
Breakfast
Hall.
Club.
Anthony Michael Hall.
And the principal from the Breakfast Club.
Yep. March 30th, a week later, Beetlejuice comes
Oh,
out.
Beetlejuice,
wow.
Beetlejuice.
I mean, a week later, April, Bright Lights in Big City, The Seventh
Oh,
Sign.
the Bright Lights Big C. That was the one with Michael J. Fox. About the,
playing
Yeah,
the
but that's
cokehead
not-
there.
and the only thing good about that wasn't Phoebe Cates in that.
I
She
think she
was.
was.
Yeah, she wasn't there. She wasn't naked in it though. She should have been. It would have made that movie would have made it.
She should be naked in everything.
She should be naked right here in front of us
Now.
right now. Come on, Phoebe.
April 8th,
Answer my email.
Above the Law.
Well,
Richie!
No, Above the Law was the
that
first
was Out for
one.
Justice.
This is the first Steven Seagal
Anyone see
one.
Richie Lupo?
This is
that-
Sharon Stone was his wife in this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then April 15th, $46 million, which, as far as I could tell, might have been the movie that made the. No. Rambo 3 made the most movie that year, I think. Colors.
Colors. Oh, with
Colors,
Sean
Colors,
Penn
Colors,
and
Colors.
Robert Duvall.
Ice-T?
I am a nightmare walking, psychopath stalking. You guys see, yeah, awesome movie.
Well, I didn't see
Actually,
Colors
the movies
because
that made the most money that year, I think, were Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Rain Man.
Critters 2,
Oh God, that sucked.
Plain Clothes,
Who was in that one?
John, what's his name, man? The dude that's on that show with Charlie Sheen, but Charlie Sheen's
Oh,
not on
John
the show.
Cryer.
John Cryer, remember?
Right.
He went back in Massachusetts to high school.
Oh, that was John Cryer's Hiding Out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
oh no, this is Plain Clothes.
No, no.
Hiding Out's a different one.
No, Hiding Out was this one where he was he was in the witness protection program because he saw some mob hit. And he went back to high
Yeah,
school.
yeah, and he had to go
Yeah.
back and.
they
figure
actually
it out.
filmed some of the scenes at that
Around here.
diner, the South Street Diner.
Because back then they didn't film a lot of movies in Boston.
Right.
They were like Friends of Eddie Coyle. You guys remember that movie?
No, I never saw that.
Oh,
one.
Friends of Eddie Coyle. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah, I've
Unbelievable.
heard
That's a
of it,
really
but
good
never
movie. It's
seen
an
it.
old school Whitey
one of
Bulger
those
type.
Irish,
film.
one of those
Yeah.
Irish mob
Of course you
movies.
know.
and
guy
South
taught-
Boston
yeah,
Jeff.
it's good stuff.
Keep going there, Jeff. I'm reliving my past here.
Well, Friday the 13th, The
Part
New Blood.
7, The New Blood, of
Okay.
course.
Okay.
And that's
Now-
what I seen instead of Colors. That's
Jeff.
why I knew.
I would have
Jeff.
rather seen Friday the 13th in colors anyway.
You know what's funny, real quick, because I'm going to tell Jeff something that I know he likes this part right here. I went and saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Which came out in 85.
85. My stepdad, a week later, Better Off Dead came out.
Unbelievable.
We went because he wanted to go see Better Off Dead. And I said, hey, let's go see Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He didn't know I saw it, but I was a big fan of, like, if I liked the movie, I wanted someone else to like it.
Right.
He was like, that is the stupidest movie I ever saw in my life. A week later, we went to see Better Off Dead, and he's like, we could have saw this instead of that stupid movie. But anyway.
Must have broke your heart.
yeah, no, it did. I was like, I told
Friday
you.
the 13th, Part 7. That was the
The
one
New Blood.
where Jason was fighting a girl with Jedi powers, right?
Well, yeah, it was originally booted as Jason versus Carrie and everything, but I doubt
Oh,
that Sissy Spacek liked that script.
And your buddy Terry Kaiser, who played Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's,
Speaking of Bernie, he smelled like a burner to me when
And-
I met him.
and he was the corrupt doctor in there. He was just trying to make a buck
Yeah,
off
the
of
Bad News Cruise.
out
He
of her
was,
Jedi
dark-
power. But out of the whole bunch, that was one of the worst. I didn't like that one.
You
that
didn't
was
like
one
the
of the
Friday,
better
that
ones.
one? No,
I'm
You know what? I'm
2, 3, 4, and 6, and Part 5 only because of Debbie Sue Voorhees in her gigantic hockey mask were out in that one.
I like the one
And Dudley from Different
Dudley from Different Strokes. Remember when he met Mr.
Oh yeah, he met Gordon.
WKRP
He met
from
WKRP.
Cincinnati?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Remember they had to do a thing in front of. This is a very special episode.
We're gonna watch Fritz the Cat today. Do you know what that cartoon is?
Basically, for those of you people out there reading, the guy from WKRP, not in real life but on the show, was a diddler, and he did, and he diddled Dudley from
Dudley in the
different
back of the bike
strokes.
store.
Arnold ran
In the back of
like
the
a
bicycles.
maniac, and they came back to the house, and there were a bunch of bikes around, a cartoon playing, and Dudley was in his underwear on
Did he
on
have
his lap.
underoos on?
Dude, he had white undies on, which
Hey, that's
it
what
could
it was
have been.
people wore in the 80s.
It could have been orange and yellow or something, but yeah, white underwear on.
But
it
it would have looked a
wasn't.
lot better in orange. and yellow.
Unbelievable. Keep
Well,
going there, Joe. We only got a few
Jeff,
minutes left.
This is
We were laughing about a kid getting
I'm
diddled
a
on
huge
different
fan of this
strokes.
movie, and I think recently I found out that you were a fan of the little guy in it. I
Dudley?
forget
From-
his name. No. Willow.
Oh yes, well
Warwick.
Davis.
Warwick Davis.
Davis
Oh, he was an
has
Ewok,
has this outstanding show on Cinemax
It's
now
awesome.
called Life's Too Short.
Oh,
where,
my God.
He plays he's playing himself, and he has a talent agency for little people, but he's a shyster,
And they all
he
hate him.
Yeah, they all take him. He steals all their roles. He steals all their work.
My favorite
but-
line from Willow had to be, "You all great."
Which one was that?
In Willow, when Mad Mardigan there, Val Kilmer was
Yeah.
like this great swordsman, and Willow
Yes.
goes, "You all great."
I like when he goes, oh, help me, please. There's a peck with an acorn. Peck.
What was George Lucas smoking back then that he decided not to do a new Star Wars movie, but did Willow instead?
That movie sucks.
And
He
for
was
the
a
record
cool
here,
guy to meet and
Willow's
everything.
midget wife was probably the ugliest creature I've ever seen on planet Earth in that movie. That
Oh
was hideous.
yeah, I've seen her in other stuff.
Right.
talking about that. She
Well,
was hot.
that's his real life wife, I think.
Is it?
I'm
No,
not
I don't
sure.
think so.
but,
Sorry, Warwick.
Jeff. No, I don't think it is. Jeff,
I don't
what?
know.
A week later, June 3rd, Big
Yeah.
Funny Farm.
Well, Funny
Both
Farm.
of them, man.
yeah,
Funny
I was-
Farm was awesome.
Funny Farm's kind of like moving.
Right, it
'Cause
is
They go to
kinda
a
like-
weird town, and it's the same little bits, like the moving truck. They came and they threw everything in the river. Funny Farm, they came and they're
I
like,
remember
oh.
when you saw moving, you
Is that
called.
what Chevy Chase?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it
And he
is,
had that
and it was
awesome red sports car.
Yes.
And he had to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
like money into the payphone, and he had like the jelly glass. He kept putting nickels into that. She's like, "Sir, I can tell you're putting nickels
That's
in a
exactly
jelly
what
glass."
we were talking about. I remember when that movie came out. Jeff called me. He goes, "Dude, you're never gonna believe this, but Seafeld from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was one of the guys in the movie for 3 seconds." And I was like, "Well, that sold it right there. I gotta
Why
go
don't
see it
you
because
guess your
Seafeld."
way to Redbud?
And here you go, TC.
Oh yeah, don't
June
forget,
22nd, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? $70 million.
unbelievable. Robert Zemeckis, one of the greatest directors of all time.
A week
because
before
he
that,
did Back
Great
to the Future.
Outdoors.
Great Outdoors.
Love
Bull
that
Durham.
movie.
Which was directed by Howard Deutsch, and he's the luckiest guy in the world because he's been banging Leah Thompson for 30 years. So my hat's off to him. But getting back to Funny Farm for a second, what was the thing that he was eating, Jeff, and he didn't know what it was until he puked it up?
Oh, I remember.
Those were the sheep balls.
Yes, lamb
or like,
fries.
lamb
Yeah,
fries.
lamb
Oh no,
fries.
yeah, lamb fries. They were actually sheep testicles.
And what made them so tasty, Jeff?
Well, you have
to clip 'em
them
real
way
high.
high.
You got to clip them right
you guys know
up
this
there. Only you would know that, Jeff.
Well, also
Steve
the,
did
the,
too.
well, like the
great movie.
woman who played the waitress serving him the sheep balls was played a really disturbing rapist in Clint Eastwood's Sudden Impact. It
Now,
was like,
Jeff, this seems to be a recurring theme on the program. A couple episodes we were talking about your, pussy balls. What would be the secret ingredient in it if we had SBJ balls out there on the menu?
Maybe we could have this on the barbecue.
Well, there would be no secret ingredient because they're self-saucing. Well, they have to be drained every now and then.
All right, moving on, Jeff. Moving on, Hollywood. I don't care
You
about
asked.
draining nuts.
Self-saucing. I'll never forget that. My brain is now.
Self-basting, but you did ask.
Rooming with Bull doesn't seem that bad all of a sudden. Go on, Hollywood.
Then we had Coming to America.
Oh,
2 weeks
classic.
later. Oh, man, you kidding me?
Every line is
McDowell's.
a classic.
Every line.
McDowell's.
McDowell's, Soul Glow,
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
Everything.
I remember when his
Perfect
name,
movie.
when his mama named him Cash Clay. I'm going to call him Cash Clay. But
Unbelievable.
Die Hard came out 2 weeks later. A Fish Called Wanda, Midnight
Great
Run.
movie. Yeah.
A
This
Midnight
is
Run.
Cocktail. Cocktail.
Oh,
sorry.
Cocktail. How many times did you watch that scene in the waterfall with Elizabeth Shue getting a side boob in slow motion on your VHS? I'm raising my hand right now. I'm guilty. I don't care.
I'm raising something else.
Now, getting
raising the
back,
flag.
Midnight Run. Midnight Run, without question, I think at the time holds the record for the most F-bombs in a movie ever.
Really?
I think it has to be. Someone should go out there and count the F-bombs in that movie. Underrated. That's probably my favorite, second favorite Robert De Niro movie
I love
next
that
to The
movie,
King of
man.
Comedy.
That movie's awesome.
King of comedy. Yeah, nothing will beat that as far as Robert De Niro goes.
All right, keep going there, Jeff. Hollywood Joel.
8 Men Out came out September.
Into the microphone would be nice.
Hey, I'm sorry, guys. Eight Men Out came out.
Didn't like that one.
Punchline.
Didn't like that one
Punchline
either.
was good. You
that
didn't
was,
like Punchline?
That was with Tom
Punchline
Hanks
I had
and,
to grow on.
and
'cause
Sally
I'm not a
Fields.
big Sally.
Yeah.
I can just Sally.
Yeah, but
I
they had
just
a
stare
lot
at
of
Sally
young
Fields.
comics that later became huge. Like
they had a
Damon
lot of-
Wayans was in that movie.
You know who was the main comic in the movie? The dude from Revenge of the Nerds 2 who rapped.
Oh,
Remember
God.
Revenge of the Nerds
Oh,
2?
yeah.
The white dude
yeah.
was apparently, at this time, the king of comedy because in Punchline, they bring him out and use his real name. Whatever it was.
What happened to that guy? Jeff, you must know what happened to
Oh,
the guy.
I seen him on a few of those
Me too.
Rodney Dangerfield specials
Yep.
back at the club and everything, but I couldn't tell you his real name.
But I mean-
you are right. He is the white dude who rapped in Revenge of the Nerds too.
He's either one
that's what I remember.
to come up with no on 15.
Yeah, no, on 15. His name in that was Stuart Lipsy.
Hey, what's his name come out? Lamar? Is Lamar gay in
Lamar
real life?
Lamar.
You guys probably know him.
Jeff
No,
actually
he's
sang
not.
with him.
No,
That's
he's
not.
cool. I mean, I don't care if
Larry
he is.
B. Scott is his real name. He
What
was
else is he in?
He was in,
Oh, he was in Space Camp. He was actually in the
Oh, he's in
Karate
Space
Kid.
Camp.
he was one of the Cobra
co-
Kai. He was the black Cobra Kai.
No
And-
way.
and
No
he didn't
way.
have any speaking lines in it, but he's in the background. Larry B. Scott.
Is he,
Lamar
in the
Luttrell.
is he in the bathroom scene when Johnny's rolling a joint?
No, he's not. He was actually only. You can only see him at the end when
At the
you
end
know,
when they're
the
all
fight,
lined up.
at the tournament.
That's funny.
Unbelievable. All right, wrapping it up there, Joe.
That's it, guys. Alien Nation,
Alien Nation wasn't bad with James Caan.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead, no, he's a
Never
kid that
seen
hangs
one.
around the studio. But that's a different story for a different time. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up the big time program here. Hopefully when we come back, we'll have a WrestleMania report from you, Strangler
All right,
Steve,
I'm
and then
gonna
you
do
have a bull report if you see him
Oh, my
down
God.
there.
Keep my eye out.
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in the ring looking for a Big Mac. Remember, this is After Hours Experience. I'm T.C. Rustani along with South Boston Jeff, Hollywood Joel, Strangler Steve. Remember, email us, tcrustani@yahoo.com. Trend us, TC, on my TV, on Twitter, Facebook, and everything out there. And, of course, let's take it home, Cyndi Lauper.